And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Friday, December 27th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody, and welcome here on a Friday. A few sprinkles of rain falling out there. Not too cold this morning, but it's going to be a fantastic Friday, and we welcome you to our program. We get started each Friday talking about Wilson Bank and Trust, and this morning Wiley Barton is with us. This is Wiley's first time to come and do the commercial for Wilson Bank. And Wiley, let me say good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Nice to see you today, and I've already found out a few things about you. First of all, you grew up in Hartsville.
Yes, sir.
You still live in Hartsville?
My parents still live in Hartsville. I live in Murfreesboro off of 840 right now.
Yeah.
Just recently got married.
Well, let's talk about growing up in Hartsville for just a moment here. You like sports, right?
Yes, sir.
Played sports.
Played baseball right there on the creek bank.
Yeah.
You know, this is a really good community, a lot of great people.
And did you also play at Cumberland, maybe?
I did, with Coach Hunt. And then my last year was with his son.
Yeah. So Dr. Stum will be happy to know that we mentioned Cumberland already this morning. How'd you get to Wilson Bank?
I was pretty familiar with Wilson Bank, just with the Wilson Bank branch being in Hartsville, and just through playing baseball, meeting a lot of people, and played a little baseball with Mr. John McDermott's son through summer ball and everything.
Yeah. Well, as far as when you started, did you start out doing what you're doing now?
I did not. I started out in Bankers Academy, where we rotate through all the different departments to kind of get a overall grasp of Wilson Bank and Trust and how everybody all works together to achieve what they need to. And then after that finishes up, they kind of rotate into what's you're more interested in and what the best suits the needs of the bank. Mm-hmm.
So your title is consumer lender, which means you spend most of the day trying to lend money to people.
Yes,
right?
sir.
How's that worked out? How long you been doing that, by the way?
A little bit over a year and a half now, and it's going pretty good. Everything's looking to be going in the right direction. I mean, rates are looking good. The past few meetings, the Feds dropped the prime rate, so that's always good news.
You pay a lot of attention to the prime rate, even to the Dow, to the economy, as a lender of money.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you do. That's you kind of want to know what's ahead.
You kind of want to get an idea of what the market's looking like and where everything's kind of trending.
What type of loans are there some that you particularly specialize in, or that is kind of your main thing to do?
We really do just about everything. I mean, we'll do vehicle loans to credit cards, getting people started building a credit score, land purchases, home purchases, equity loans, construction financing.
You mentioned you just got married?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm sure you want to say hello to your wife.
Well, if she's up yet, I don't know. I made quite a bit of noise this morning, but good morning, Delaney, if you're out there.
All right. Well, you no doubt invite any of your friends who have a need to borrow money to come see you. And where are you located?
I'm located at the main office right there.
That's where you've been ever since you've been lending money, been at the main office?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what do you think about as you look to 2025, which will be here in about a week? I think this year maybe has surprised some people. The economy has been better. Investments have probably done better. The lending rates have come down some. Get your crystal ball out here and tell us what's going to happen in 2025.
I mean, everything's trending in the right direction. We'll see what it has in store, but we're pretty excited for it. We're looking forward to the new year.
Well, as far as the bank is concerned, you were closed. You were closed yesterday, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
And Wednesday, and a half a day Tuesday. So two and a half days off.
Yes, sir.
Was that pretty good?
That was a good break. That was much needed.
But back for business today.
Back for business today.
There lending money. If somebody has a need, come see you. We could talk just a minute here, Wiley, about the process, and a lot depends. Probably you're looking. You like for somebody to be one of your to be a have an account at the bank. That helps if you're going to lend them some money, right?
Yes, sir. I mean, everything with community banking is about a relationship, so it is always good to know people and to have some connection there and have a relationship with us. So it is something that we kind of look forward to as far as providing an overall banking need for people.
Well, if somebody can look ahead a little bit, think ahead here, in a few months, I'm probably going to need a loan. I've got some things I want to do, either go into business or a house or whatever it might be. It would be wise on their part to go ahead and get some sort of an account, maybe a checking account, savings account with Wilson Bank.
Yes, sir. They can come by, start getting acquainted with us, and meet our personal bankers and kind of build a relationship there, then check out our lending side to see if we have any products or rates that are suited to their needs.
All right. Well, it's nice to have you with us today. I hope they'll send you back before too long. Wiley Barton, consumer lender for Wilson Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender, still here, still independent, still committed to you, excellence in banking since 1987. Wiley, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Right. We are 10 minutes after the hour and getting started a little bit early with Senator Pody, but he's here this morning. And let me welcome Senator Mark Pody.
Good morning, Coleman. What a great day to be alive.
It is nice to see you today, and I thought it would be nice, and especially since I didn't already have a guest, to have you here. Maybe we'd call it a week early or whatever, and just kind of get things lined up here, and then invite you back in a couple of weeks and get started with our Friday Senate report. But good to have you, and what's it been like here for is December kind of been a slow time for you as a senator?
It's actually been quite busy for me. Now, I will tell you, part of it is Debbie Stevens has lost her husband, and they were married 52 years. I've known that couple for over 40. We went to church together. James was just a terrific guy. And she is just so critical to the office. She's been with me almost since the day I got down to the Capitol. And so she's taken some time off, which means that when they put in a substitute or somebody, they really don't know what's going on in the office, and they change from day to day. So I've been down there doing a lot of the paperwork and constituent stuff myself. So I've been very busy doing, I'm going to say, some of her job and mine at the same time.
And you've been spending quite a bit more time in Nashville than you would have, because you normally would have had her if you needed something done there.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And because I represent part of Davidson County, it's almost like people here in Wilson County, they know what my office is right on the square, but in Davidson County, they come to the Capitol for constituent work, and I meet them right there. You know, if you're kind of out in suburbia or rural Tennessee, they don't necessarily have a place to go to meet somebody. They meet them at a coffee shop or whatever. But when you're at the Capitol in Nashville, it is literally their meeting spot, and they come to the Capitol and they meet me right there.
Do you have a number of Davidson County people who come to visit you?
Oh, yes. Davidson County is a very, very busy county. There's actually 14 representatives, the state that represent Davidson County, but 13 of them are Democrats. And I'm the only Republican down there. So even though they might not necessarily be in my district, if they're kind of a conservative Republican, they come to see my office and say, hey, here's something we're trying to work on, and either piece of legislation or help or whatever. And they tend to come to me rather than their own rep or their own senator.
Well, this is a total difference scenario for you since the redistricting took place and you are representing part of Davidson County.
That's exactly right. So, I get to work with the mayor in Davidson County, Freddie O'Connell, as well as their council, Angie, and such. So when I'm working with them, it's a different scenario, and they've got 40 people on the council, so I get to meet with them on a fairly regular basis, and we might not agree on a lot in political issues. However, I tell them I'm the only Republican down there. So if they want to get something done through Davidson County, it's got to be through me, and we'll work together to get it done.
Well, what do you hear from them? I'm guessing, and I think you've told me a little bit in the past too, it's just a different ball game, so to speak, in describing what they want, what they feel their needs are, where they're leading to legislation-wise than what you face in a more rural area.
Yes. In rural Tennessee, and I'm going to say like Wilson County, we do things for ourselves. We want to make sure that we can rely on ourselves. We rely rely on our neighbors to get things done. If there's something that's going on, a neighbor needs help, we're there to, hey, we can bring food or we can bring whatever. We know our neighbors. In Davidson County, it's a lot more transit, and people don't know their neighbors. They may have lived next door to somebody for years and years. They don't even know who their neighbors necessarily are. So they rely on the government to do more for them. And whether it's going to be the transit plan or whatever it is, it's more let the government do it than it is let's us find a way to do it ourselves.
Has this changed your thinking, the way government is supposed to operate? Has it really changed at all? You see a need, obviously.
Yes, I do. So, and I see the need, and I see how perhaps if we let government be the answer, they want government to answer more. So what I'm trying to do is say, look, let's find ways that we can get us back to working together as communities to solve our own problems rather than looking to the state to do it. So it's a lot of just education, talking through the differences, and their response is, if they came from another state, this is what we did in New York. This is what we did in California. Yeah. And I hear that a lot. This is what we did somewhere else. And I said, well, you came here for a reason. What was the reason you came? And they said, we got lower taxes. You got better opportunity. And I try and say, it's that we want to save. We want to preserve that. That's why you came, rather than try and change to what you had in California or New York.
Is the message getting through?
Some will hear it and some don't. It is easy for them to say, let government do it. Why can't government do it? And they also say, why can't we just tax more of the people and let the government distribute that money? And that's something I'm just not comfortable with doing. I'm trying to say, no, we have enough taxes. We don't need to raise any more taxes. We just need to be prudent on how we spend it and make these priorities. And all of us need to work together in community rather than letting government fix it.
Okay, with that, we will take our break. Senator Mark Pody is here, and this is Coleman and Company FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. This update, want to thank our friends at Bates Ford. Bates Ford, you get that regular oil change. It's $39.95 up to 5 quarts oil, tax and disposal, $17.80 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. An accident with injuries tying up the 1200 block at 21st Avenue over near Vanderbilt as it picks up with more volume out here in the last few minutes. 24 as you come westbound out of Murfreesboro, Rutherford County. There's been some radar up and down. 24 in the Murfreesboro area this morning. Be careful also on 840 as well as traffic increases out here on 40 in from Dixon County. Dodging some pretty good rain showers out here. Give yourself extra travel time. Prince's Hot Chicken has new items on the menu. Check them all out this weekend at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
The Dancing Lights of Christmas, Tennessee's largest, longest-running, and most affordable drive-through light and music show is back. We're talking 3 million lights spanning a 2.5-mile route, all synchronized to some of your favorite Christmas tunes. After the lights, Santa's Village is loaded with food and fun, a petting zoo, pictures with Santa, even a helicopter ride above the lights. Take the short drive out to the Wilson County Fairgrounds to make some Christmas memories that will last a lifetime. Open 5 p.m. nightly through January 4th. More info at thedancinglightsofchristmas.com. Family owned and operated for over 15 years.
Thanks for listening, and thanks for joining us here on a Friday morning. Let me quickly remind you the holiday schedule this week and next week for City of Lebanon garbage pickup. If you were normally picked up on Wednesday, you're going to be picked up. You were picked up yesterday. If you normally picked up on Thursday, like at my house, we're picking up today. It's a day late. And if your normal pickup day is Friday, it will be picked up on Saturday. And the same applies to next week. Senator Mark Pody is here. I want to switch gears slightly because we'll talk about anticipation kind of for this coming legislative session. It's another General Assembly that will get started, but it's the last 2 years of Governor Lee's time in office, and he will be ending his second term, so he won't be running again. And the ground is being laid for possible people running for governor, and I understand there's a handful, maybe even 6 or 8 people who might like to be governor, and you are a player in this, in that you for sure got your nose to the ground and your eyes open watching what's happening and so on. I'm not going to ask you to make any predictions here, but if I described that fairly good so far.
You have, and we expect a few more to be jumping in. I don't know who's going to jump in on the Democratic side, but I do know there'll probably be about 8 people or so on the Republican side. That'll whittle down, as we go through the next year to where we'll only have a few serious people, a year from now that are still very, very much interested. It's going to cost, $10 million or more. Last time it was $20 million to actually run for governor. I think Bill Lee won with just over $10 million, where Randy Boyd and Diane Black had spent almost $19 million apiece to run for governor. So it's a very, very expensive race to do a statewide race.
But if you don't have that, you just pretty much have no chance.
That's correct. If you can't get your name across, and because Tennessee's like a cigar, if we're looking at it that way, and it's interesting that, if you're at one side of the state, you can actually get to Canada quicker than you can get to the other side of the state. It's that far. So it's a very long state to campaign in. And you've got to get your name out everywhere from Memphis to Mountain City. And to run for a statewide office, it's expensive. You got to have a big ground game going and be able to work that. There are several candidates that are out working it right now. And they've come by, they've talked to me, they've expressed what they would like to do and just kind of getting their feet wet saying, if we did run, would you endorse me, or would you kind of consider helping set up a ground game for us that way?
Have you yourself entertained ideas of running for governor?
No.
Not really? No.
I am so blessed to have my family. My wife has been so supportive of this and of what we're doing. But Coleman, I'm just as blunt as I can. We just try and pray through what we're doing. I have zero aspirations of going to Washington, D.C. I have zero aspirations of trying to go for a statewide office. I think God's called me right here to do this, and He's given me a part of Davidson County, and I'm supposed to be making a difference and standing and building this wall of where we are in Middle Tennessee. And I've got to tell you, I have gotten to a point where we're very effective in getting legislation through that we want to get through. It might not be as many as other people want to get through, but I know where to pick my battles. I know how to work in the Senate, and we've become, I feel, very strong as a Senate voice in there. And I'm going to tell you, my voice has been a very conservative voice, and even though my Republican colleagues might be a little bit more socially liberal than I am, I think they need my voice at the end that I am, at the side that I am, so they don't go any farther than what they are, because I'm very clear in who we think we should be.
When you look at our position, our lower taxes, no income tax, are you pretty pleased with where we are in that part of way things are in Tennessee?
Coleman, I am. And I've gone around the country. We do have legislative conferences around the country, so I could talk to other legislators just like myself. And Tennessee is a leader. They come to us and they say, Mark, how do you do this in Tennessee? How can you have the growth that you have? How can you have the lower taxes, the lower debt, and money in the bank when so many states are on the verge of, I don't want to say bankruptcy, but they're saying we've got to raise our taxes. We've got to do some things. So we've been very, very conservative in our budgets, and I am a strong budget hawk. I don't believe in spending money that we don't need government in. I'm just going to tell you, like this Titan Stadium, I know it's not one that I would say that everybody needs to be putting taxpayer money in. Some of these are billionaires. If they want to put their money in, that's great. But it is, and I look at what the response is that we say is an economic development, and do we get our money back and such, and that's not for us to be looking at it that way. I'm here for specific reasons in government. Government needs to take care of infrastructure. Government needs to take care of safety. Government needs to have a safety net that nobody's hurt or starving. But we don't need to do everything for everybody else. It is not up to government to make sure you have a place to go to football games. That's not our role.
You've had your critics, and especially those who have a more liberal persuasion, and the Democrats. Some of them don't like you, to be honest, and you know that. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But you have You used to have this vehicle. It said "standing on principles," "standing firm on principles," something like that. That seems to have been your motto, your way of political life from the start.
That's exactly right. I am here because I'm going to stand on biblical principles and I'm going to stand on the Constitution. And something else, Coleman, I think that here in Middle Tennessee, we've been growing so fast, we need to take a break from the growth that we've had for a moment and get caught up on our infrastructure, get caught up on our schools, get caught up. I don't think that we need to be trying to continue to pay companies to come here to the extent that we had. No, don't get me wrong. There's a really good company with a lot of high-paying jobs and so forth. I want to make sure that we're in the ballpark attracting them, but I want them to come because we have a good tax structure, that we're business-friendly, our regulations are low, not because we give them millions of dollars. I want to make sure we're having companies come because they like who we are as a state, who we are as the belief system that we have, not because we bribe them to come. I want to slow down just a little bit.
What do you expect the next 2 years to be like? Some people would refer to Governor Lee's next 2 years as being a lame duck governor, and that's probably not too far off. There's going to be some people to probably come to prominence in the legislature, and it seems there's a lot of posturing going on all the time, but maybe especially that will be in the next 2 years.
Yes. So the governor, he wants to do one big thing yet, and that is to do a school choice program. That is his number one thing. He wants to get that done before he leaves office. And I met with the governor, and we've kind of talked that this is the thing that he wants to get done. And here's the deal, Coleman, I'm a school choice supporter if it's the right bill. What they propose right now, I told them I'm not comfortable with it. It's not the one that I would like to see happen. And in fact, I've actually met with one of our school board members here, and we've talked through it. And he said, Senator, here's some of the issues that we have with this bill. And so while we were sitting there, and I actually called and said, let's do an amendment, because some of the things I think that we need to have in a bill is, why can't teachers see the test results of when they're giving a test? Right now, our teachers can't even see what that result, that test was. How do they know if they're teaching the right way? And we're holding them accountable. I would like to see something like that. I'd like to see that if we're going to fund it, it does not come out of our current funding system for public education. If we're going to fund something like that, it needs a different funding source. So it's not coming out of the general fund. There are some things that I think could be good for school choice, but the bill that I see in front of me just isn't cutting it at this moment. So it needs some amendment. It needs some work.
What are the chances of that happening?
I don't know what committees I'll be on, and if I'm on education, they really need my vote. So they will listen to me as we go through education. I was able to make some changes in the last one. We'll look forward to the discussion as we go forward. I don't know what committees they're going to put me on. However, education is a lot of work, but it's a big committee and makes a big difference in Wilson County.
Well, when will those committee assignments be done, and who does that?
So what it looks like right now is Randy McNally will be back as Lieutenant Governor. And with him being Lieutenant Governor, he'll make that decision totally himself, and he'll announce it the week that we go back. So if we go back on the 14th, which is the constitutional requirement that we go back the second Tuesday at noon, we'll sign in, and we'll elect Randy McNally as the speaker, and he'll make those probably on Tuesday.
That's a pretty sure thing.
It is, because the Republicans had their caucus meeting, and when we had a caucus meeting, and we have 27 Republicans out of the 33, so we have the vast majority of them, and they voted for Randy McNally. Now, I'm going to tell you, during that period of time, I didn't vote for him. I said, we perhaps could choose a different person. However, he's the one that won that. So as Republicans, all the Republicans will stick together and vote for him on the floor.
We've got about 2 minutes here to close it out here, but you expect any knockdown, drag-out battles this coming session?
Well, one of the things that we're going to be very interested in is two things. There's two things. One is going to be President Trump and he's got some very specific issues that he would like to do. One of them is on medical, and he's got RFK, so he's got Kennedy that he's kind of helping to say we want to be looking at his direction of health. And we've actually invited him to come down to Tennessee. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to get him or not, because if there's bills that he would like to have done on the state level, I want to make sure we file those caption bills ahead of time. One of the things we're looking at doing is this. I want to make sure that we're supporting our local doctors. We've gone away from you and I having necessarily a personal doctor, that they had their own offices, where right now 80% of our doctors actually work for a corporation or hospital or whatever. I want to have that individual doctor that I know, that I trust. I want to get the government out of their way. I want to get the red tape off of them, and I want to get insurance companies out of the way. And I sell insurance, and I know what they're doing. They're interested in making money. They're not interested in necessarily our health. But let that doctor have some freedom. And so Kennedy's kind of along that same path. So I want to make sure I'm working directly with what the federal government's doing and looking that we can do it that way. The second thing is immigration. And Trump has said that he wants to start a deportation program immediately. I want to know what that's going to look like and what we need to do in Tennessee. I'm going to tell you the first thing I want to do is we've got people in jail that are here illegally. We've got people that have committed crimes, and I want to make sure that I'm very supportive in getting criminals out of our state and deported as quickly as we possibly can, and make it where they're not welcome back here in Tennessee. So we've got a lot of work to do to make sure we can work together with the federal government along that. And I'm not a federal government type guy that I want to work together, but if we can find common ground to help move us forward in Tennessee, I'm definitely going to be looking to do that.
Coming to the end of our time, it's been a real nice session this morning. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Coleman, I look forward to it.
Senator Mark Pody, and that's part one of Coleman and Company. We've got more. Please keep it right here, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Absolute Kubota. They'll help you rent the right tool for the job. The Kubota Orange Rental Program makes it easy to rent the right equipment. Stop by Absolute Kubota. Check out the U35 excavator or the SVL 75 compact track loader. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. They're working an accident over near B&A Airport at Hanger Lane at Donaldson Pike, right there at that red line. It's pretty busy through there, especially this time of the morning. Heavy rain continues to move through Middle Tennessee. Give yourself extra time. There's some slipping and sliding going on out here. White Bridge Pike at I-40 on that ramp. They're working an accident. Standing water on main and secondary arteries is going to send you out early this morning. Whether you need a new roof repair, roof inspection, independent roofing specialist, they've got you covered at irsroofs.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Happy New Year.
It's a brand new year, brand new goals, new hopes, new beginnings.
We are here to get you going in the right direction if you're ready to buy or sell a home.
No charge, no hassle, just 44 years of hands-on experience when you call us.
That's why you don't want to make a move without us. Happy New Year.
Call Judy Cox or Medina Himmensholler at Exit Rocky Top Realty. C&D Team 443-3130.
Happy New Year.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is in a new location, 1746 West Main in Lebanon, across from Sports Village. Gregory Dental Group offers cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs.
No insurance? No problem. Call about the discount plan. Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322.
We'll have rain showers this morning, remaining cloudy this afternoon and breezy. Afternoon highs in the mid to upper 50s. Cloudy tonight, temperature staying in the middle 50s, and then warmer on Saturday. Showers and thunderstorms move back in. Highs in the lower 60s. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. With your severe view forecast, I'm Drew Richards.
We welcome you to part 2 of Coleman and Company here on a Friday morning. Time for us to talk about the C&D team of Exit Rocky Top Realty, located at 1330 West Main in Lebanon. Diana Cavender is here this morning. Diana, good morning.
Good morning.
Always good to see you.
Belated Merry Christmas.
Well, you You have been involved in insurance, and still are, I think, at least
over
a little
20
bit.
years.
And you made a move to be into real estate and chose to work with Miss Judy and Medina and the people at the Rocky Top, and actually moved your office there. You had moved your office before I found it out, but you have not. You've been busy ever since I've known you, since you came to town.
Got to stay out of trouble.
Yeah. Well, this morning, Miss Judy is busy, and Medina is still recovering.
Still trying to get back on her feet again.
And Mike is still around.
Oh yes. I'm sure next week they'll be taking down Christmas lights.
All right. What you got for us?
Well, I have, and that's why I'm sort of in my farm garb. I am about to walk a listing I have, 20 acres. I'm doing a favor for another realtor who's out of town for the holidays, and we do that. Us realtors, we do work together, no matter, I know people sometimes think we don't. But it is 20 acres up in Hartsville on Harris Branch Road. It's a unusual in that you usually see manufactured homes not as large as this. It is what they call a triple wide. Mm-hmm. It's almost 1,900 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it has 500 feet of road frontage. And I have walked it, and I'm going to show this gentleman again because many of the people who are looking at it want to put another home on it. So, like, build something and then maybe have this manufactured home moved. So, it does have the capability of doing that. So that's what we're going to do this morning. Put on our raincoats and walk 20 acres.
Even if it's pouring down rain?
I do it. I get my steps in.
Yeah. You got some others?
Well, no, not for me. I lean more towards the buyer side. I get a little nervous if, the house doesn't sell in one day.
Oh.
And the pandemic is over. That doesn't happen anymore. Houses, matter of fact, I'm a little bit of a numbers nerd, and I wrote down some things that in November to contract, from listing to contract, on average, it's 47 days. Mm-hmm. So I just thought some people out there who are wondering how the pulse of real estate is doing, it's 47 days from contract to closing. We had last month 99 new listings. This is all for Wilson County, which is up 18% from last year. So that's a good sign. We all know we had 3 rate cuts of 25%. As of this morning, 30-year mortgage is averaging 6.99%, which I know a lot of people think that's a lot, but I bought my first home at 13%.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you weren't starting the buying process back when it was 3.5%, and you look at it now, you just budget it. So 6.99 isn't terrible. We're hoping next year it'll settle at around 5.5, if we're lucky.
Well, I can remember when a 7% loan was very attractive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I refinanced down to that.
There's peaks and valleys, I guess you say. You roll with the flow.
Yeah, that's right. And again, if you weren't, I hope you weren't shopping at 3% and you're still trying to shop, because you need to compromise. I always tell my buyers that buying a house is like a marriage. You need to compromise. You're not going to get everything.
You've come up with a few sayings, cliches, slogans, or whatever since you became a realtor.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
What else you got?
Some mottos. Well, that's about it. There was. I just wanted to let people know that year over year, house prices have gone up, though, about $26,000, which is good. Everything has to go up a little bit. We want to appreciate. It is an asset. It's your most important asset. So, good thing for someone who maybe is thinking of selling their house, that in all probability, there's always exceptions, that your house has gone up in value.
Well, no doubt you'd like everybody to be reminded that you are part of the C&D team, and your office is right there, their office at 1330 West Main.
Yep.
And you can be reached at their phone number, but you have your own as well, and I won't confuse people. I've got your number written right here. If we could give that, 615, I hope this is right, 585-7773.
Yes, sir.
Diana Cavender. 585-7773. So since you're doing the commercial this morning, you the spotlight's on you.
My logo is I'm here to help.
And that's whatever you're involved in.
That's right. Just come give me a call. We'll meet at the office and we'll discuss whatever you want to discuss.
All right. I'm here to help. And don't make a move without
And don't make a move without them.
Diana, thank you so much.
All righty. You have a good morning.
All right. Diana Cavender, C&D team, exit Rocky Top Realty, 1330 West Main. We're right now 22 and a half minutes before the hour. This is the last Friday of the month, and Friday we feature the Lebanon Senior Citizen Center. And this morning we have Heather Sadler Gallagher here, who's the director, who is with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. How are you?
How are you? I'm doing well.
Yeah, I am wonderful.
You start lunch every day with a joke. You got a joke this morning?
You know, it is so funny you say that because, you know, this year the calendars that Susie gave out for the radio station are the dad jokes. And I'm going to be honest, I really appreciated that because there's some really good material in there. But yes, I do have a joke for you.
Well, we're ready.
Okay. Why is partying at Times Square overrated? Why is partying at Times Square overrated?
I give up. Why?
Because they drop the ball each year.
Well, all right.
I'm telling you. See, you have to come to the senior center to get my jokes every day. So sometimes they're fails, but most of the time they're pretty good. So seniors are pretty honest if they don't like them or if they do. I can tell you that much.
Well, one of these days when we've got a big crowd, I've got a story I want to tell, but we'll save it for someday.
I can't wait. You just tell me the day.
Oh, all right.
Even if I'm not there, I try to get guest joke tellers. So you may be my next guest joke teller.
Well, hopefully it won't be offensive. But, what's going on?
Well, the biggest.
By the way, Jamie Phillips, I hope she's okay.
She's okay. She's just taking some time off with her kids for Christmas. She took a few extra days at Christmas off. So
missed her yesterday.
Yeah, so she should be back on Monday. So
all right. But you're here to tell it all this morning.
Well, I try. I do my best. So the biggest thing is that we have our Valentine Gala coming up in February. So it'll be Saturday, February the 15th. The cocktail hours at 5 and dinner's at 6. And this year we're going to be at the Mill. So we've already started selling tables and we're starting to sell tickets. And that's one of our biggest fundraisers of the year. So we've got some silent auction items. We've got a committee that's already started on that. So we really we started about 6 months ago, just making sure we had everything going. So since it was my first one, I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. So we're working on that. But you'll see in the newsletter that is that's our cover this month is our Valentine Gala, and we do have some sponsorships available. So if anybody is interested in sponsoring a table or sponsoring. We've got some opportunities for sure.
Well, that's is this maybe the biggest fundraiser each year? Do you derive more money from this than any other one thing that you do?
We do. Last year wasn't as big, but in years past it has been. Yeah. So I think we're trying to mimic some years past is what we're doing. Of course, we've got pickleball coming up too, our pickleball tournament. We don't have the date completely set for it. So last year pickleball and our gala were kind of a month apart. So we're kind of spreading those out. So I think that might have had a little to do with it with the sponsorships. But yes, it typically is our biggest fundraiser for the Senior Citizen Center.
What time frame are you looking at for a pickleball tournament? You don't want it to be in the heat of the summer, I wouldn't think, but you don't want it to be too cool either.
Well, so we work with a professional pickleball team that sets these up. So they're the ones that are giving us some dates, but ours is indoor. So it'll be at the fairgrounds indoor at the
okay.
The
now I remember. I'd forgotten that part, but okay. So really, the outside weather doesn't make that much difference.
That's right. Okay. That's right. So that'll be kind of coming online as soon as we get through with our gala. So,
but a little bit more space this year, probably.
A little bit more space, yes, because it was that was a really big event that we had last year. So
that's that. from what I hear, it maybe has even gained in popularity in a year's time.
Pickleball it is very popular.
Yeah.
So it's also for young and old. I mean, it doesn't discriminate on people, and so that's one reason I'm glad and that we're doing it. And then also we just built those pickleball courts. The city did right behind Jimmy Floyd. So if you've seen people out there playing pickleball, it stays pretty packed over there.
Yeah.
So of course I get to see that because they're right behind the Senior Citizen Center. So it's a pretty cool game that most people play.
So we'll have more about that. Well, what's happening in January? You want to talk about, and we got to go to a break here in a couple of minutes. But
so our one of our biggest things is we're adding some exercise classes in January. Our exercise class is kind of topped out, so we're adding some exercise classes, and then we're adding. So I went to a Tennessee Federation on Aging conference last month, or actually the beginning of this month, and there was actually some new data they brought in about cognitive exercises with exercising, like using your brain as you're exercising, like spelling things out, doing opposites, and how that helps with mild cognitive impairment. And there's a group called Power of Parkinson's as well that has brought in a lot of data. So I sat through that and listened to a professor from Rhodes College in Memphis talk about that, and also a physician from Texas. And so we're actually working to add some of that into our exercise classes. So more information on that's to come, but it's a really cool way to add some exercises for our community,
And then really for the good of so many at the center.
Absolutely, yeah. So, and I sat there
rather than being a couch potato, a little or even a lot of exercise.
Hey, if you don't use it, you lose it. So we're just encouraging people to use it. But I sat through one of the classes, and I had to sit there and think, left and right and left and how to spell things. And so it really is a very cool way to introduce it into exercises and do things. So I'm excited to be able to add that. And then, of course, we're starting, as soon as we get all the money, we're starting to spend our $100,000 grant from the Tennessee Department of Aging. So we'll have more screens around our center, including a screen in our exercise room, so we can add virtual classes and things like that. So hopefully we've already purchased our software, My Senior Center, and so we can start taking things online too as well to our members. So we've got a lot of upgrades in technology coming, and so I'm really excited about that. So.
All right, we've got to take a break right here. Heather Sadler Gallagher, Director of the Lebanon Senior Citizen Centers here. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by our friends at Bates Ford. Low price tire guarantee on all tires every day. Up to 30 days after the sale, there'll be any competitor's pricing on the tires they sell. 1780 Franklin Road. Now in traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. There was a red pickup truck up against a wall in a terrible spot out in Bellevue in West Nashville on 40 eastbound, right near OHB. Heavy rain continues to come down here in Middle Tennessee. Give yourself extra travel time. There is some standing water out here already on some of the main and secondary routes. Hey, when you need dependable towing for your car or big truck, call STR Towing and Recovery. Check out their website at strtow.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
At Wilson Bank & Trust, we're now offering exclusive checking and savings accounts designed to benefit our hometown heroes, including active duty military, veterans, and first responders such as law enforcement, firefighters, and EMS workers. At Wilson Bank & Trust, we recognize the commitment and sacrifices these families make to serve our country and communities. Thank you for your service. Visit one of our local offices to get started today, or learn more at wilsonbank.com/military. Member FDIC.
And we continue here on a Friday morning. Let me remind you of the holiday schedule for trash pickup with the City of Lebanon. Our garbage collection people are out today doing what they normally do on Thursday. If you normally have garbage pickup on Thursday, it'll be today. If it's normally today, it will be tomorrow. And the same schedule for next week. We appreciate what they do, and just a reminder to be ready for them. Well, Heather Gallagher, Heather Sadler, somehow we we just say all three of your names?
You know, I tell everybody I'm not bougie, but I do have 3 names. I know. So some days I just sign HSG on things. So,
well, you have taken over for Patty Watts. It was last May, maybe?
Last June was my
June?
first.
All right.
You were close.
Okay.
Yeah.
She went through May. That's right. Yeah. And you've made some changes and probably got some more you're working on.
A few little changes.
By the way, let me because I want to thank you for helping sell the pecans for the Lebanon Lions Club, and remind everybody they're still at the locations here. They're not all gone, and now they probably will be. We're going to cut this thing off pretty soon, and if you hadn't got some pecans or you need some more, anywhere they're selling them. But we appreciate what's done at Senior Citizen Center, and you come right along. We've had a good sale there this year.
We have had a good sale, and I tell everybody those chocolate amaretto pecans are probably those are some of the best things I've ever eaten in my life. So I tell everybody they're not good, so I have more. So those are really good, Coleman.
We still got a few of them.
We still got a few, and we got pecan halves and pieces for everybody. So
right. Well, the only problem is inflation. We had to go up $14 this year, and they sold well, but 14's $1 more than 13, which they were last year.
But I hadn't heard anybody complain about it.
Good.
Now I've had to give a lot of change.
Yeah.
So luckily I keep some change in there for us. So and Shirley has done a really good job organizing that to make sure that that we're helping the Lions Club out.
Shirley Carey is a very fine person, and the Seniors Center is very fortunate to have somebody of her ability and her caliber, her integrity to work there, I think.
Well, she keeps me in line too. That's probably her biggest job right now, is keeping me in line. But yes, she is. She's the backbone. I will tell you. I haven't asked anybody on our team to do something, and they've said that's not my job.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big thing. So when you start saying that's not my job, the team atmosphere goes out the window. But so far, everybody has just pitched in.
Well, it's like a big family in a lot of ways,
and it's growing.
Yeah.
It is growing every single day. We give a tour of the Senior Center to people coming in. We give we talk to people over the phone. I get emails. What does it take to join the Senior Center? So I will tell you, our membership is growing, and it hadn't let off. We do a membership drive during July, and you think, it's kind of. It's kind of peaked out, but it is. People are moving in, and they're looking for what we have to offer here in Lebanon, and we offer a lot, and it's a family atmosphere. And then I tell everybody the best way to get plugged in is to come eat lunch with us. And if I've said it once, I've said it 100 times since I've been there. There's something special about breaking bread with people. That's why Jesus did it. And, you make relationships, you make friendships, and you make family. So come break bread with us. I try my best at the end after we serve everybody to go sit with somebody I hadn't sat with, so I can learn people. And if there's somebody new, they're not sitting by themselves. So last week I sat with a gentleman, and he'd moved down here from Canada. So we got to talk a lot of hockey. So it was a pretty cool conversation. So, and I encourage my staff, if we see somebody that's sitting by themselves, we try to go in there and introduce or find a friend. And I don't want anybody to walk in and be intimidated. And sometimes that can feel that way if you're walking in somewhere for the first few times.
Oh yeah,
so
definitely.
we've done a really good job, I think, of opening up not just our doors but our hearts to people. And we serve seniors at all different. Physical capabilities, all different socioeconomic capabilities. I mean, it is, when you're there, you're just part of us.
And I guess the youngest you can be a member, I believe, is 55.
55,
55. By some definitions, 55, when you get 55, you're a senior citizen. Others, it's more like 65, maybe, like Social Security and other things. But 55, you're officially a senior citizen. You can be a part of that.
That's right. And, there's so much.
And there's some that are over 90.
We have some that are over 90. Every month we do a birthday celebration celebration, and I'm amazed at the ages. You know, that's not something you normally ask, but when you figure out that somebody's sitting there and they're 94, you know, and how active they are and how many rounds of cards they play in a day, and it's a pretty cool thing. But, you know, once again, you know, I've been in senior living for 15 years, and I can definitely tell you, if you don't use what God gave us, you'll lose it. Even if it's to the small ability of getting out every day and coming to eat lunch. You know, if you're not, you know, walking a little bit, and whether you're rolling a rollator, but you're still up and walking. So, you know, hopefully we encourage that as much as possible, and that's what keeps people young. You know,
the way you've been talking, you're going to be encouraging a little bit more.
We are with some more exercise classes. Yeah. So now, Coleman, you can be honest. So we started our new My Senior Center sign-in in December, just kind of rolled it out, and then in January it's fully rolled out. Now, how easy is it to come in and sign in at the Senior Citizen Center?
It's about as easy as anything you can do.
Yeah. I know it was intimidating at first. Everybody got a little nervous about it, but you know, you just scan your card or put your phone number in, and then you just touch a screen. There's not a keyboard, not a mouse attached to either one of our sign-in computers.
I feel I've already mastered it. I've only done it 2 or 3 times.
Hey, it's that simple.
It is. It is very, very simple. Very
easy. And it'll help us. It'll help us with our numbers. And why I say it like that is so many people forget to sign in and so many things. But when we ask for grants, people want to know how much we're using things, and then also I want to know. You know, I want to look at the exercise classes and know, hey, this is the number we have. We need to add more, or you know, do we need to pivot on something at lunch? Is there a lunch that brought more people in that didn't? I mean, I've even looked at it in that capability. So we've got a lot of capability with My Senior Center. We now can broadcast out through a voicemail message, like we can call you and hear my voice all the time. And then also we can send out text. We can send out emails. One of the biggest examples I can get is, let's say we're at bocce ball and it's raining, and bocce ball's off campus. We can send out a text and a voicemail and says, hey, it's raining, that's canceled for today. You know, so it's got a lot of capabilities. It actually has a capability of our homebound route too. So, you know, we serve about 75 seniors lunch every single day in the city limits of Lebanon. We have 6 different home delivery routes. And that's been something that it's a really cool story to tell, that a lot of people don't realize what we do. So it's not our traditional Meals on Wheels. That program's a little bit different than our program, but our program is whatever we serve at the Senior Citizen Center that day, our homebound members get it. And we have a special machine that seals it just like you would a TV tray, basically, so it doesn't spill, and they can put it in the refrigerator. They can heat it up. So they've invested in that before I got there, and it's a great program. So I anticipate that program only growing next year. And so our software actually helps map that. So we made a huge investment with our grant purchase to get this software to help us.
I guess you always. There's always an opportunity for volunteers to deliver these meals.
Absolutely. We are always looking for volunteers. So if you've got an hour and a half, we have some, that's about what it takes to come and grab the meals and then deliver them. You make a huge impact. Two weeks ago, our staff closed the center, and we all went and delivered them just so we can see our members that day as well. And then we had our holiday party that night or that afternoon. But, you know, we've taken the opportunity this year at Thanksgiving to actually cook extra meals to make sure they had meals when we were closed. We gave them a huge box of food at Christmas as well, and some gifts. Cedars Prep brought in socks and Kleenexes, which, you know, you never can have too many of those, according to my grandmother. So we took socks and Kleenexes and delivered those out to all of our homebound members.
Well, I'm sure they were very appreciative of your generosity.
You know, and it's fun. That I will tell you, if I'm ever not in the center, because there's a route that goes open, it's actually one of the coolest things I get to do.
And really, when you don't have a volunteer, or if somebody's sick or can't do it that day, or an emergency, whatever, you have to pull from the ranks to get this done. It has to be done.
It has to be done.
Yeah.
Just like you said, Shirley, she'll jump in, and her husband Cancel will jump in. Our Maureen, our social services coordinator, will jump in. I'll jump in. Jamie will jump in. So we try to all, like I said, it's not my job. It's not in our vocabulary.
We're down to 2 minutes. Anything else about January itself you want to mention? I mean, we'll be playing. The pool room will be open every day, I guess. That we're there. There's one holiday I know, of course.
We're closed on the 1st.
That and Martin Luther King.
So we've got that going, and then we've got.
Cornhole about 3 times.
You got cornhole, and then the other thing is, this is something I'm not sure gets talked about a whole lot, but on Mondays mornings at 10:30 we have a Monday morning sing along, and if you haven't heard Miss Joyce Bryan come in and play the piano, you are missing out. She is absolutely incredible, and when I first got there and I was in my office and I'd hear music, I'm like, what's going on? And I'm gonna tell you, that's one of the best parts of my Monday is listening to people sing hymns, and it just brings in a lot of people. And if you're looking for something to uplift you on a Monday morning at 10:30, you should come stop in, because that we don't talk about that much, but it's a very, very uplifting 30 minutes of just
Ben
music.
Blake lead that usually.
Ben Blake leads it, yes, and it is. I don't think anybody knows that we do that. I'll tell you what I've done. I have been recording it, and I actually send it to a couple of people that I know that are homebound, and send it to them. And it is just amazing to hear what they say. Like, I hadn't heard that song in years. The little church in the valley, and just some good gospel music. And you don't have to be the best singer to join in. Trust me, that's me. But that's a really cool thing that I don't think really gets talked about much, that we offer at the Senior Citizen Center.
Heather, we're out of time.
All right.
Gotta go. Thanks for being with us today. And nice weekend, everybody. And until Monday, I wish you a fantastic day.